Excuse me. I go live and I'm coughing. That's a big no-no in in TV, right? Or radio. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm back. Anita is not here with me because she's working, but I'm happy to be back. I'll tell you what, I was excited. It seems like, I mean, when you're so used to doing something week in and week out, um, and then you get out of the routine or whatever, and then you finally get back to it. It seems like much longer than it actually was. Now, obviously, I've come off a cruise and I've been in Alaska the past couple weeks. So I know we did a live, right before we boarded in Alaska, and we did a couple lives in Alaska. But the being here in the studio again, it's first. It seems like forever. It seems like it's been over a month or something. I know it hasn't been that long, but it kind of feels that way. So hello everybody, and I know we're gonna, gradually get the numbers up here. We don't have a bunch of people in here yet, and some of you will be watching this on replay. But I did have a couple people. If you're one of the people that are just signing in right now, I see we're up to 10 already. But Z was first, and I see Will has jumped on here, and a bunch of other people have jumped on. But you haven't put anything in the comments yet, so say hello in the comments so we know who you are. We got Frankie Floyd. All right, now they're coming. Michael Allen is here. Good evening and thank you. And I'll be back one more Tuesday, and I'm going to try to do my normal Tuesday on the Magic unless something crazy is going on. I believe that's a C day, so I think I can pull it off. And I hope that they have Starlink. I don't know if anybody's been on the Magic recently, but if you have and you can verify if the internet's good, let me know. We got Tiny Cab One. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But hello, what's going on? We got Ken Pascal from Florida. Good to see a couple not familiar names. But I hope your names become familiar and you become regulars here. And look at that, Frankie Floyd is getting us started right out of the gates. He is known for being first on the super chats, and he does it again here. So, Frankie, you are numbers 8 through 10 because Sherry has numbers 1 through 7. And we'll get into the super chats and what that means for anybody that might be new here. I'll explain that, and we try to give away a t-shirt for you being so kind as to give the super chats. So we'll go over the details on that. We got Nick here. What's going on, Nick? Good to see you in the comments. And so I was writing down what I've been doing here, and I know I did a show after I came back on the celebration and before I went to Alaska, but it almost seems like they're all kind of tied in. We got Daryl, and Daryl was on the Luminosa with Anita and I. So we can talk about that a little bit too. And we got DC brother. Good evening, watching from DC. All right. Are you a Commander fan or a Redskin fan, whichever you're more comfortable referring to them as, or what is it, the Senators, Washington Senators? I wonder what team affiliation you are there. So yeah, just got back from Alaska, and I'll tell you about the ports here. And Daryl, as I mentioned, he was there with me and his wife and my wife, and they participated in the bar crawl we did that week, and that was a lot of fun. We got Justin here now. So on Luminosa, the ports that it went to. Oh, okay. Cruise We've Done Celebration. Yeah, all right, very cool. And well, obviously that's not your. Did you do the bar crawl, Tiny Cab One? And yeah, the June 11th was a lot of fun, that cruise. It was only a 6-day cruise on the celebration, but it was a lot of fun. So getting back to Alaska, we did Juneau, Alaska, Skagway, Ketchikan, and then Victoria. So I'm going to go through the ports and what I did each time. So Juneau, we did whale watching, and the whale watching was phenomenal. The thing that I wish I could have seen, and I saw a couple other people had pictures the second week, but where the whales actually breach the water, they jump out of the water. We saw that thing, and I forget what the term is. Maybe somebody in the comments can help me out. But where they hunt together, and they all kind of come up as one. So there's like, six of them, the mouths of them all coming up at once. The whales, we saw that right at the end of the part that the whale watching that we did. Obviously, we saw a bunch of big tails and things like that. So that far exceeded the whale watching that Anita and I had done, almost 20 years ago, the last time we were in Alaska. So I was really happy with that. The second week with my buddy OT, we went to the Mendenhall Glacier and we did some hiking. They have some really nice paths, very easy paths for just about anybody. Most of the paths there are paved, and some might be a couple miles or more, but they're very easy to walk. And just some beautiful scenery. And they have this massive waterfall right next to Mendenhall Glacier that you can walk right underneath, not literally get wet by, but just off to the side of it. And there's like this little inlet or little island right at the base of the waterfall. So we got some really good pictures. And Justin, thank you for that. Let me throw that on the screen. So that Juneau, great port both times. And then also in Juneau, when we got back from that waterfall excursion, I posted this on the Coach Cruise Facebook group, but there's this place called Dave's Fish Tacos or something. I forget the full name, but they have this little kind of like this little area of vendors, almost kind of like a little, food trucks kind of set up where they have some Alaska brewing. Oh, Chris, what's going on? Yes, I did have a blast for sure. But they had really great fish tacos, really good beer. So after we did that hike to Mendenhall Glacier and all that was some really good food. In the prior week, they have this salmon bake where it's all you can eat salmon. That was included in our whale watching. In addition to the salmon, they had some great sides to go along with it. And obviously, if you're getting salmon in Alaska, it's going to be about as fresh as you can get. So it was good stuff there in Juneau. Skagway, another great port. It's probably my favorite port in terms of scenic beauty, like just looking around every which way. And there's this beautiful cascading mountains. So the first week, Anita and I did this ocean raft. It's like a jet ski boat almost. It's the same type of raft that like the Navy SEALs might use for one of their missions or something. And that thing zipped us around. I mean, we saw eagles and eagle nests. We saw a bunch of harbor seals. I think they're referred to as harbor seals, but they're laying all over the rocks, and a lot of pretty scenery, obviously, and many waterfalls. So that was a lot of fun. And the second week, we found, what's going on, T? I got to sail with Cookie on the horizon. Oh, yeah, Cookie's my guy. I mean, he is so much fun to cruise with. So, anybody that's going to cruise with Cookie, you're going to have a good time. He definitely brings the party. So that's cool. So Skagway, yeah, like I said, we did that ocean raft. That was a lot of fun. And then the second week, my buddy and I, we wanted to do some hiking. We didn't do hardly any excursions. Well, we didn't do any excursions while he was on the ship. So he wanted to do a lot of hiking. So Skagway, we found this awesome, and there we got Bruce. Bruce is in the house. We found this awesome trail in Skagway. It's called like the Lower Dewey Trail or Dewey Trail. And then it connects to like Lower Lake and Upper Lake, and then the Devil's Pot or something like that. Bruce from Ocean to Ocean. And for those of you that followed me, you saw Bruce and we did a live together. And I felt bad about this, but Bruce, he came, and you are 11 through 20, Bruce. Bruce came all the way. I didn't realize, I thought, like he was just outside of Seattle. He drove, I think, a couple hours, he said it was, just to do that live with me. So I felt that. I'm like, oh man, if I'd have known that, I'd have told you, to stay home. So he battled traffic and everything. So we did a live on my channel for 45 minutes, and then we switched over to his channel for 45 minutes. So that was a lot of fun. And that was the first time I met Bruce in person. And that's the same way with so many of you. And look at that. We got Tim G following them up. Hello, Tim. Tim is an admin on the Facebook page. And Tim and I and Mike, I don't know if Mike's here yet. We've been doing some work. I don't know how many of you have followed on the Facebook page, but we've got some spammers and some attractive young ladies, at least posing as young ladies. They're probably the opposite, um, posting things on the page. So I'm having to ban people and delete stuff and all kinds of craziness. So Tim and Mike have been helping me, kick people out of there that are trying to infiltrate the Coach Cruz page and group. But we're doing a good job of kicking them to the curb. So, Tim, my friend, you are 21 through 30. And there we got North Shore Travelers, and he's getting some merch going. Let me throw up your guys' super chats, and Tim's. I'll throw yours up here in just a second. So let me explain the super chat since we've had a few of them now. Now, Sherry, the good thing about the super chats is if we don't reach 100 in any given show, we carry it over to the next week. So next week's live. So if we don't reach 100 tonight, no fear. Your super chat is still in the raffle for a chance to win a shirt. Now, Sherry, she had gone over when she did her super chat. So she was numbers 1 through 7. Frankie Floyd started us off today with a super sticker. So he was numbers 8 through 10. Bruce just did his super chat and he was 11 through 20. And now Tim just did his, and that makes him 21 through 30. Seg 183, what is going on? Good to see you on here. And so how this works is if you do even as little as a $1 super chat, like let's say you did the next dollar and you were number 31. I say on my phone, hey Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100, and let's do it just for fun. This one doesn't count. Hey Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. And so it picked 99. Now we're not 299 now. But if anybody would have picked 99, whoever did the super chat, and if they were in that 99 number, then that's the person that would win the shirt. The example I was going to use is if somebody did a single dollar this next super chat, and you would be 31, and then if I called 31, you would win it there. So that's how the super chats work. And then also for those people that now it used to be the $10 ones when poor Sadie girl that's sitting, at the chair right beside me here, a $10 super chat, you would buy a treat for Sadie. And obviously she's not around. So the only thing to buy a treat for is me, unfortunately. But anybody that does a $15 super chat or more, you get me a shot of bourbon. And the first person, if anybody does it, I have got a double, which I am going to pour into my cup here. So you'll get 2 for 1. The only thing with that one is it's going to be mixed. And I got my Coke here. Right now I got Coke in there, but we can change that. We can make that happen. So Embarkation Nation is here as well. It's good to see a bunch of familiar faces. Like I said, I missed you all. And I kind of missed talking. Yeah, like I said, Z was first in here. Okay, so I think we're caught up. And I was talking about Alaska just recently. And, Daryl, as I mentioned, he was on the cruise with us, him and his wife. So we hung out a bit and talked and, shared a few drinks and things like that, had a lot of fun. And they had a lot of fun in Alaska doing their thing. And prior to that, I was on the Celebration. I know, what was the name? Tiny Cab One. She was on the June 11th celebration, but I was also on the June 25th celebration. And on that particular cruise, we did Amber Cove, San Juan, and St. Martin. And the reason I mentioned celebration is because I'm still catching up with video and editing. Those of you that follow the channel a lot, and that's most of you, and look at that, we got Frankie Floyd just laying the hammer down, and he throws out a big $20 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Let's put that up there. So that gives him numbers 31 through 50, and it gives me a double shot of bourbon, which I appreciate very much. So there's my double shot. That's going right in there. And we're going to top that off with a little bit of Coke. And thank you so much for that, Frankie. I will be enjoying this the rest of the show. Now, if anybody else does one, it will be a regular shot. And I have a little bit of Angel's Envy left. And then once that's finished, then it will be Buffalo Trace. I got a little bit of that left. So thanks again for that, Frankie Floyd. And oh, thank you, Sean. Yes, smash that like button. I was talking with Derek from Island Time today. We were on the phone. We had a nice chat. And that's one of the things that came up in discussion is, when we're doing videos, how to get, more likes and, get the page more active and things like that. Because sometimes you'll have a video that does pretty well, hundreds, thousands, people potentially watching. But then when you look at the likes, it might be 10% likes or 15% likes, sometimes even less. And you're like, what's it take to get that like button? But I know sometimes you get watching the show and you forget about it. And so Sean, I appreciate that. So yeah, if you all can minimize the screen for just a second and hit that like button, it'll be cool. And look at that. We got Lito Tito here. And I know I think you were driving on Sunday on Derek's show, Mike, because you didn't comment. Oh, and look at that. We have Sherry, and she's closed us off. Sherry has finished out the last 50. Look at that. Great to see you again. So she took 51 through 100, and that means we get to draw for a shirt. All right. So great to see you. And we got Fireball Steve here as well. So let's put that up on the screen there. All right. So I just gave this example. And Sherry, you also have numbers 1 through 7. I don't know when you joined the show, but we have Sherry with 1 through 7. Then we have Frankie Floyd with 8 through 10. We have Bruce with 11 through 20. We have Tim G with 21 through 30. We have Frankie Floyd with 31 through 50. And we have Sherry with 51 through 100. And then we'll be starting off a new thing, any super chat after that. So, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's the first time that's ever happened. I've gotten a 2 before. Random number 1 through 100. Oh, wait, hold on. No, you know what? I take that back. Look, I'm sorry. It said 1 and 1. It misheard me. A random number 1 through 1. So I'm going to do that one over. Hold on. I take that back. That one messed up. It didn't hear me right. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. Okay, there it is. And you can see the 1 and the 100. And the number is 11. So that means Bruce, who had numbers 11 through 20, Bruce from Ocean to Ocean Travel, congratulations. And Sherry, you know what? We will take care of that. And I think I'd asked you, and I think you had said to, so Sherry, I'm writing that down right now to make sure we don't forget. And just message me and we'll take care of that. And then Bruce. And then we got Bruce has another shirt coming as well. Okay, so Sherry and Bruce, they have these shirts. Congrats to Bruce. And then Sherry, I owed one from before because she had one previously. So yeah, message me what size and what color, and we will get that taken care of. And Jason, I'm glad you checked in because I sent your shirt off today. I was at the post office, and they weren't too fast either. I had to wait in line. But your shirt should be arriving by the end of the week. All right, so that's great. So like I said, the next super chat will be starting off our next 100. So very cool. All right. So yeah, I was talking about Lee, and I want to mention Lee in the celebration because Lee today, as a matter of fact, Lee Mason and I, he's the cruise director on the Carnival celebration. For those of you that don't know, but I was messaging him earlier today, and I had said, hey, if I doubt you're going to be available because I think you're doing stuff with St. Jude tonight or whatever. So tonight is actually the awards gala for St. Jude, and for those of you that don't know, Lee has won the the big award from St. Jude for being one of the biggest supporters, or uh, I don't know the exact title of the award that he won, but basically his ship, the Carnival Celebration, has raised more money for St. Jude than any other ship in the fleet. And they also have the record for the most amount of donations for one cruise, which I know is over $60,000. And for those of you that have watched my videos recently, he talked in the groove for St. Jude and things like that. And you really hear him, pleading with the cruisers to help these kids out and their families, because St. Jude, for those of you that don't know, they basically take care of everything. They make it possible for families and the kids to just focus on getting healthy and healing, and trying to get better, and without the expense that we know hospital bills and treatments like that could cost so much. So they really take care of the kids. That's why it's such a worthwhile organization. And yeah, so a big congratulations to Lee. He was going to try to join us. As a matter of fact, he messaged me back and he said, hey, what time? You know, and I told him the time, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to be right in the middle of the award ceremony at that point. So maybe he'll watch this on replay. And if you do, congratulations, my friend. Well deserved. And I know there's many cruise directors across the Carnival fleet that really take pride in their work, and Carnival does as well, with their affiliation with St. Jude. As a matter of fact, the cruise directors had their annual get together at St. Jude, and that was very cool. So big congrats to Lee. And again, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with my videos lately, if you're just watching the channel for the first time right now, I got a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that I just released. And anyway, one of my favorite parts, and call me goofy for this, but I just released the video. Was it this morning? Maybe I'd released it yesterday, but then I watched it and some of the audio was off. The music wasn't aligned with the clips the way it was supposed to. So I deleted it and then I re-uploaded it. So it's on there today if you didn't get a chance to see it. But it's at the end of the groove for St. Jude. And then so that was his third event of the day. And he comes on the video, if you watch it, he says, okay, hey, I got like 10 minutes before my next event starts. And his next event is not, where he gets to keep the same clothes on. It's a Q&A session, and he has to go all the way downstairs to the theater, and he has to change out of his shorts and short sleeve shirt to, like a blazer and pants, because he's doing a Q&A session for 50 minutes. So he's like, I got like, less than 10 minutes. I'm going to eat 3 tacos. So you see me filming him, and he talks about what he puts on his tacos and stuff, but he scarfs down 3 tacos in less than 3 minutes. And I just found that part cool, because a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes of what cruise directors do, and that I think you see them at an event and you think like, oh, this would be a fun job, you come to a couple of events, tell a couple jokes and that, but these cruise directors are really working, and you really see that clearly in the video. And I'm going to release the full day probably next week, but what I did is I broke it up into 3 sections to keep it under 20 minutes each video. But I think I ended up covering 5 or 6 different events he did, all before like 2:00. And after he did those tacos, then we went down to the Q&A session, and I only showed you a couple questions. One of them was from me. And then after the Q&A session, he had a little break, and then it was back up to the Lido deck for Legends of Lido. And that's where you get to see this guy, make an ass of himself on the Lido deck doing some ridiculous dance that I totally was unprepared for. And not only that, but I feel like Cookie got me on the Quest, and you can't see that because there's no filming allowed in the Quest. Thank God for that. But I had to share a little bit of a clip of me making a fool of myself. But the part that's the worst is, I mean, they how these competitions work. There are a lot of dance competitions and going out there and acting goofy and things like that. They put me behind an actual professional dancer. Me, 6'5", 285, 290 pounds, depending on the day. They put me behind a professional dancer. That's the act that I had to follow. So I'm going out there and I have, I mean, I was so happy to lose. I've never been happy or to lose something ever in my life. As a matter of fact, you can see on the video there, I told the judges, I was like, you all better not have given me enough points to go on to the next round or whatever. And thankfully they didn't. So my embarrassment or whatever was able to go away. But it was fun. It was fun. And so I see here, we got some congratulations to Lee, and that's cool. And yeah, I'll drop him a message to say that a bunch of you were wishing him well and all that. So we're not done cruising. I have one more cruise to go this summer, and then after that it'll be Thanksgiving on the Celebration will be the next one. But we have the Carnival Magic coming up. So August 4th, we'll be heading out to Norfolk, Virginia. And we are going, the ports there, they may not be in this order. Miss Lady, well, thank you very much. They may not be in this order, but I know we're doing Amber Cove, Grand Turk, and San Juan. And I wanted to ask the question while we're on this topic here. Have any of you, I know a lot of you are big-time cruisers, have any of you booked a cruise in advance and forgotten what ports they were? Because I swore, if you'd have asked me, I remember looking at this cruise and I'm wondering, I have to find this out because I swore the itinerary was going to be St. Martin, St. Thomas, Amber Cove, and San Juan. Not only is it not that, it's only the three ports, Amber Cove, Grand Turk, and San Juan. So I'm wondering if they changed out St. Martin and St. Thomas. I mean, I love Grand Turk, so that part's cool. But, I really love St. Martin and St. Thomas. And I was convinced that those were the four ports that we were going to. So I'm a little disappointed. And I'm wondering if they changed it. Most people ask me, well, where are you going? If I have a cruise coming up. And a lot of times, honestly, I don't know. I'm just happy to be going cruising. So I don't know how many of you are like that. Put in the comments if you are. Are you somebody that is just, hey, I'm on a cruise ship and I know we're going here or here. I don't know the other couple places or whatever. You're just happy to be going on a cruise and the itinerary doesn't matter as much? Or does the itinerary matter a lot? I mean, obviously it plays an impact in your decision. If you're putting one cruise against the other, you're going to make a choice. But once it's actually booked and stuff, does the itinerary matter more, or is just the fact that you're going on a cruise? So put either just a cruise or itinerary really matters. Just a cruise or itinerary matters. So in other words, you know what I mean. I don't even need to explain it. I think everybody knows what I mean. I need to take a drink. All right. I have some would you rather questions that I think will be fun. Okay. Sherry, never. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Usnavi, what's going on? Okay, so Miss Lady is just happy with just the cruise. Bless Nettie, the itinerary does matter. Jason, it matters. Miss Lady is just happy to be on a cruise. Tim, itinerary really matters. Okay, Tim, so tell me some ports you wouldn't want to go to if itinerary really matters. And Sherry, just a cruise. Okay, so I'm more in line with that. Seg says itinerary matters. T is itinerary matters. North Shore Travels itinerary matters, but I try to forget what the ports are after I book it. Okay. So that's a good way to go about it. Now, I will say this, when I do the itinerary, depending on where we're going, I do some research on that particular port and the excursions that we're going to do. So, for the example of this Carnival Magic, Amber Cove, I've realized is not one of my favorite ports. And no offense to anybody that loves Amber Cove, but one of the best things about Amber Cove is the free pool that they have. For those of you that haven't been to the Amber Cove, they have this gigantic free pool that's available. Now, the drinks and food that are next to the pool, those are not, those are not free. But the pool itself is free, and they have lounge chairs and umbrellas and everything that you can use. So, excuse me, if you just want to get off the ship and enjoy that, you can. So for people to looking to save money on an excursion, if Amber Cove's one of your ports, boom, they got your back. They got you covered there. Now, the thing I don't like about Amber Cove is there aren't a lot of crystal clear beaches. That traditional Caribbean beach that we all love with the crystal clear blue waters, like Grand Turk, for example. They don't have that there. You can take a cab or a taxi for a distance to get you to some nicer beaches. And we did do, when I was on the Celebration, I was on with a gentleman named James, and we went to an all-inclusive beach, and it was a nice beach, and they had the chairs. It was an all-inclusive type thing, much like what you'd see at a Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach, except not near as good. They don't come up to that level. And it was like $30 more on top of it. But they did have a food buffet. Again, not near the menu that you would see at Paradise Beach or Mr. Sancho's and Cozumel, but it was food. And then they had a bar, and they didn't have the wait staff, like you would see in those, Cozumel or something. So it was a far cry from a Mr. Sancho's. And then the beaches aren't as nice either. The thing that I love about Amber Cove, though, if you haven't done it, the Damawagwa 27 waterfalls excursion, that's an amazing excursion. And we might do that a second time. I'll have to talk to Anita about that, see if she wants to do it a second time. But that's a great excursion, So that's the only thing. So if anybody's been to Amber Cove and done an excursion that was just amazing, besides the waterfalls, let me know, because you might help me pick an excursion that's different. Yeah. North Shore Travelers, I wish, he says, I wish we could swap out San Juan for St. Thomas or Nassau. I mean, I love St. Thomas, and San Juan's a beautiful town and city. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely take St. Thomas over San Juan because of the beautiful beaches. And, is it Amber's Cove? No, not Amber's Cove. Megan's Bay. I'm thinking Amber's Cove is stuck in my head. Megan's Bay, and there's Koki Beach, I think, and then some other beautiful beaches as well. But yeah, I would definitely make that same trade. Okay, Usnavi says I have to ask Lito Tito several times about our stops. Yeah, so Usnavi, you're all about the cruise, and just happy to go anywhere. And yeah, Kaken says would love to drop San Juan. The thing about San Juan is, it's a beautiful downtown area. The first time I went to San Juan, and even the second time, just walking through, the downtown area, it's just a beautiful little downtown, colorful, vibrant. But again, they don't have all the beaches and the excursions and things like that you associate with the Caribbean. Available or not easily accessible. And so that's what makes it a little less desirable, I think, than some of these other ports. So I understand where everybody's coming from. And the last couple times I've been there, I've really enjoyed it because I went to some friends' family restaurant and had a great time. But I mean, you can eat anywhere, right? So you don't go on cruises just specifically to eat unless it's like just an amazing spot. But yeah, so I understand what you all are saying about. So yeah, Amber Cove, I could probably do with that. Now, Grand Turk is a very simple port, and I've only done a couple of excursions. We did a private, kind of like all-inclusive deal in Grand Turk before. I've done ATVs in Grand Turk, but I've been to Grand Turk many times, and I'm very content to just get a couple chairs and an umbrella and a bucket of beer or two and sit there on the beach. I don't know who's with me on this one, but that is the easiest port and one of my favorite ports because the ship is parked right at the beach. I mean, nobody can be a pier runner in Grand Turk if you're on the beach, right? Because I mean, the ship is literally right there. So, I mean, unless you just pass out drunk or something and, are half dead laying on the beach, you're not going to miss the ship in Grand Turk. So, if anybody's ever caught some pier runners in Grand Turk on video, I want to see that because I don't think it's possible to miss the ship in Grand Turk unless you're on an excursion, away from the ship a ways. So, yeah, Grand Turk is great. Many people are fond of Jack Shack and some of the other restaurants on the beach there where you can go get some jerk chicken or something like that and some cold drinks. And just like I say, enjoy that beautiful ocean water right there in front of the ship. Some great shots. So, and then finally, San Juan again. Many of you have already said you wanted to trade that one out. But San Juan, I'm going to go by a recommendation of Lee Mason on this one. He, with his girlfriend Geraldine, one of the frequent stops they make for food is the stuffed avocado. I don't know if anybody's been there in San Juan, but I'm going to give that a try. We're going to give that a try this time. Joanne says itinerary matters. Okay, so here's some more would you rathers. All right, I feel like I got some good ones. I put some thought into these would you rathers. All right, would you rather? You get one choice here. You don't get to do them all. You've just won a free cruise. They're all, we'll say they're all 10-day cruises. You just want a free 10-day cruise, and you get your choice between a 10-day Alaskan cruise, a 10-day Hawaiian cruise, or a 10-day cruise that does the Panama Canal. Alaska, Hawaii, or the Panama Canal. What is your choice from those three magnificent itineraries? We talked about itineraries we weren't crazy about, and a lot of you say itinerary matters. So which itinerary matters most amongst those three? All right, so we got Alaska was the first out of the gate, and that was Will G. Tim said Hawaiian, Lito Tito, Panama Canal, Jason, Hawaii, Sean, Hawaii all day, Michael, Panama, but this is pretty divided. Tony, Hawaii. Yeah, Chris, that's the thing. You can't say all of the above. You only get one. Miss Lady says Hawaii. Joanne, they have zip lining also, but yes, no beach. Seg, Hawaii. Chris says, yeah, that is a tough one. That's why I say I was proud of that one when I came up with it. Ken says Panama Canal, T-Bode, Hawaii. So, I think Hawaii wins, but a lot of Panama Canals, and that's one of the ones that I haven't been to. I see some of you trying to get around the rules here. Tim's like, are we flying to Hawaii first? Yeah, I don't know. You could. I mean, it would still be 10 days of Hawaii. Maybe you're hitting each island twice, or maybe you're cruising from San Francisco or Seattle. Either way. Usnavi says, I need to see the stops, but Panama. Okay, Fireball says Hawaii. Will's been to Hawaii many times. That's why he picked Alaska. North Shore Travelers, Hawaii. Sherry says Panama Canal. And I got to do Panama Canal. I haven't done that one yet. That's on my list of cruises to do in the near future. So, and you know what? I forgot, Sherry. I forgot. I took care of, I did my double shot on the drink here, but then you did that very kind super chat for me. So we're doing Buffalo Trace here, and I will do another one because I think I got one shot left of the Angels Envy. So we're gonna do 2 shots for that $50 super chat, and then I have a few more would you rather's. Tim says you spend 10 sea days just getting to Hawaii. I don't think it's that many, Tim. I think it might be three or four. It's a few though. I know it's like a 5 hour flight from LA. So Sherry, thank you for that. And let me get the next one loaded up. I'm gonna take a minute before I do the next one, but we'll get this Angels. That was good. I haven't been drinking much since I got back because I was doing so much drinking. A buddy of mine had some brisket, so I drank over at his place. But yeah, Angel's Envy is a good one. That's the one that's here, and I just finished the bottle. It made a perfect shot. So we finished off the Angel's Envy. It is gone. Set that off to the side. Let me put the cat back on this Buffalo Trace. All right, we got some more Would You Rather. Here's another one. Now, this is for those of you familiar with Carnival, which is most of you. And I realize some of these aren't things that we all do on a regular basis. So here's your choice, though. You get to go on the boat one time. One time. That's it. One time, which is 2 laps around the boat roller coaster. Some of you haven't been on the Celebration or Mardi Gras, but there's a roller coaster up there. It's a lot of fun, adrenaline rush. You get to go around 2 times. So you can get to do the boat one time, or you can do 1 hour of unlimited water slides with no line. You go right to the front each time, and the pool too if you want. So you get 1 hour water slides straight to the front each time. So you can do the boat one time, 1 hour water slides, you're first in line, or 1 hour free arcade. All the games you can play for an hour for free. So that might be more of a kid question. so if you got some kids or grandkids next to you, you might ask for some help on this one. But from an adult's perspective, you get one of those choices. So we got Will with the boat coming out. We got Tony G says the water slides, Tim the boat, Lito Tito the boat. And Usnavi says no, the arcade. She's our first arcade. Done the boat, so arcade. Kaken says Boulder Arcade, Sean Water Slide, Michael Arcade. Okay, this was a little more divided than I thought. The Bold is winning, but yeah, North Shore Travelers, you're going to save a lot more money in the arcade probably. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy to let you swap the arcade for the casino. T. Davis Water Slide, Bolt, scared of heights, so I'll do the arcade. Okay. Miss Lady, arcade and casino. And I guess the casino is kind of like an arcade, right? Those slot machines look like an arcade game. So, I see where you're headed. Those of you that keep saying casino. Okay, so that was another one that was a lot more divided. So I'm feeling good about my would you rather questions today because they're not all the same pick. All right. Now here, this is a either or question here. I will give you one steakhouse. You get one steakhouse, right? But in condition for that one steakhouse, the steakhouse is comp free. You pay nothing. Steakhouse for 2 is normally $48 a person plus whatever tip you want to leave. So we're talking $96 plus. I'm going to give you that for free, right? But in exchange for that, you can have no Guys Burgers or no Blue Iguana Cantina. So that means no tacos, no burritos, no huevos rancheros or breakfast burritos the whole week. But you get that free steakhouse. So how many people are going to scratch off Guys and Blue Iguana Cantina for the whole week for the steakhouse? So put either steakhouse or Guys. Even though it's guys and blue, you can put Guys and blue or just Guys. We'll know what you mean. So that's your choice to pass on those 2 things that are free, unlimited all week long, but you can't have any of it if you take the steakhouse. Who's going to take that deal? All right, we got a couple people right off the bat of this, more than I thought actually. Will came out would take the steakhouse and pass on those other 2. Michael, same thing, without question, the steakhouse. Tim G. See, this surprises me a little bit. I thought it'd be more divided than this. Ken is saying steakhouse. Kaken's never been to the steakhouse, so I'll stick with the burgers. North Shore Travelers, guys say, okay, now we're getting all the guys in Blue Iguana. T. Davis, steakhouse, give me guys. Okay, so now it's becoming a lot more even. Got to have my guys. Steak. Okay, I think the steakhouse won, but we had a strong finish there from guys and Blue Iguana. And that was a tough one, I thought, because you're giving up free unlimited burgers and tacos for the whole week for one really great steakhouse meal, right? And then Fireball Steve finishes off with, I like my guys' burgers. All right. Now, I'm really, this is my favorite would you rather question that I came up with. And some of you are part of this. So for some of you, this is a reality. I know it is. I know there's a few people in here that this is actually a reality. The last part of this would you rather. All right. You can have a suite on a ship of your choice, right? A traditional suite, not like one of these celebration suites that have, that cost like 10,000, but a normal suite. Let's not count Celebration or Mardi Gras, but a normal suite on any other ship, Carnival. Let's keep Carnival in mind here. Or so you got the suite there on any ship, or on the Vista class ships. We're talking about the Panorama, the Vista, and the Horizon. You can have a balcony in the Havana area. Okay, so a suite on any other ship. All right, North Shore Travelers, thank you. North Shore Travelers is starting us off. They are numbers 1 through 10. Thank you. Won't let me do 15, but take a shot for my. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Well, let's put that on the screen. We've got an anniversary. So everybody put in the comments, happy 14-year anniversary to the North Shore Travelers. His wife and I, and I absolutely will do a shot. Sherry, here's your one here, but I'm going to do a shot for you, Eric, here right after this one. So there's that shot. And we are going to do another one for that 14-year anniversary. And you know what? I'm going to get back to that question again. So hold off on the answers. Tim, I saw you put an answer in there, and we'll focus on the anniversary here. I'll ask that question again, and we'll get those answers back up. So cheers. And North Shore Travelers, they got some merch coming out. He was sharing with me in the messenger today. We were talking about he's coming up with his own shirts. So he's getting that going. So if you haven't checked out their channel, go check them out over at North Shore Travelers. And here is to happy 14-year anniversary, my friend, you and your wife. And thank you. And there you go. I appreciate it. And again, happy anniversary. Okay, so a bunch of you jumped in here. I didn't give you the whole answer, though. I didn't give you the whole thing. You missed the best part here. Okay, I left out there's a third part. So scratch all those answers because you might change your mind here. All right. I told you about the suite. Any ship, a suite on any ship but the Mardi Gras or the Celebration. For Carnival, we're talking here. All right. And let me get that off. Okay. So that's your first choice. A balcony in the Havana area. So those of you that have stayed in the Havana area on the Vista class ships, they're awesome, right? I mean, it's like a semi-private area. The pool is not crowded. You get to know people during the week. You got your own private bar. Great stuff. So you can have either a suite or a balcony in the Havana area on a Vista class ship. And here's the last one. This is the one that you all started giving your answers too early. Or you can have an interior cabin, but your interior cabin is on the Carnival Jubilee inaugural sailing in December. So that Christmas week, you get to be on the inaugural sailing, but it's an interior cabin. So which would you take now? Which would you take now? Would you take the suite on any ship, anytime, except for the Mardi Gras celebration? Would you take the Havana area on a Vista class ship and the balcony? Or would you take the interior cabin, but you get to be on the inaugural sailing on the Carnival Jubilee? So let's see what these answers are now. Okay, so Michael is taking the suite. Yeah, I mean, it's your choice. Yeah, consider all those rooms free, or you won them. You get to choose. Jason Havana, Daryl Havana, Tim Havana. Wow, okay. Lito Tito, aft Havana balcony near the secret stairs. I'm already on the Jubilee. No, but I'm saying because if you might not have been on the Jubilee if you weren't on the Jubilee. I knew that. I said that before. Wow. Okay, so Havana is just kicking butt here. Fireball, Havana. I have a balcony on the Jubilee. Okay. See, I knew you all were already going on the Jubilee, but I didn't. I wanted you to pretend like you weren't, like if you had a choice between those three. T is taking the interior on the Jubilee. All right. That's our first one. So many Havana. Will says I'm changing it to the inaugural sailing. Usnavi, I meant the Jubilee. Joanne is going to do the steakhouse over the you're back on the, we're a little ahead of you there, Joanne, but okay, steakhouse over guys in Blue Iguana. Miss Lady is taking the interior on the inaugural. Together we travel. Hello, welcome. And Sherry is taking the Havana balcony. I will say this. I mean, I love the Havana area on the Vista class ships, the Havana balcony on the Horizon most recently. Let's see, when was that? That was in April, did the Havana balcony, and that was just the best. I think we were on deck 6, and we had the balcony like facing the pool. It was just the best room, honestly, that I think I've ever had on any cruise ship. It was, and then, obviously, then you get the added amenity of that semi-private area with the pool and kind of getting know everybody in the Havana area and everything. So that's a very cool situation here. So I thought there would be a few more people taking the inaugural on the Jubilee. An inaugural cruise is something that I have not been a part of. I know we have several coach cruisers and island cruisers, as I like to say. What happened there? I disappeared for just a minute. My internet went wacky on me. I hope I didn't lose anybody. Is the feed been okay? I haven't been going in and out because my screen went black for just a second. So I hope that's okay. Usnavi says, let's get that. I doubt I would do an inaugural just to do it. Only doing this one because it's a group thing. Okay. Yeah. And that's going to be a fun cruise. And I'm going to miss out on that. I mean, I know we have a lot of people that are Islanders and coach cruisers. And I know there's a lot of Islanders in that group that we've cruised together. They're like, oh, you got to get on the inaugural. But I already had the celebration booked. And there's a big group of us going on the celebration New Year's Eve. So that's why I couldn't do both. But I wish I could. And I'm not booked on the Jubilee through the summer of 2024. So I don't know when I'm going to get on the Jubilee. I desperately would like to get on her at some point, sooner rather than later. But at this point, I'm not on her. Hopefully I get an offer that allows me to jump on her maybe next summer. Next summer is going to be pretty booked for me, but yeah. So, all right. Well, look at this. We are already 54 minutes in. This has been a great hour, and I knew it would be. I was happy to get back to see everybody. A lot of familiar faces. Great to see everybody so active in the comments, and the super chats and everything have been great. We have a 14-year anniversary today, which was awesome. North Shore Travelers, and gave away a shirt. Sherry and Bruce, make sure you message me with what size and color you want, or if you want one of our gray, I call them my Alaskan themed shirts, because when I designed them, because they were gray, and you get Alaska, usually you get that rainy overcast kind of situation. But go back to Alaska, just since we brought it up, or I brought it up. Alaska is just absolutely beautiful. Justin says interior on the Jubilee. Daryl, nice seeing you again. I hope we get to cruise. Yeah, and Daryl was on that Alaskan cruise, like I said, the first week that we were on it. And let me just tell you, Seattle, I forgot how beautiful of a port that is. I mean, I hadn't been there in 19 years. And just seeing that port and leaving it, I mean, from port, you can see the Space Needle, you can see the skyline of the city. Very pretty port to cruise out of. And cruising through that channel and basically just all throughout Alaska. And I know we have several people here, Usnabi, Lido Tito, Fireball Steve, and a few others. You know, they were going through Alaska, and Daryl, obviously. But I mean, you look out your window when you wake up every morning, and they're just mountains. There's this beautiful mountains and scenery, almost the entire Alaskan cruise. I mean, you wake up. I mean, the week that Daryl was on, we did the Tracy Arm Fjord. The second week, we did the Endicott, I think it was called, Fjord, and that's where, you know, the glaciers just cut a path through the mountains there, and the cruise ship goes through. And I mean, it's just scenic beauty everywhere. I'm gonna get some of this Alaska video out, and actually, that was a question. Okay, because I'm finishing up the celebration. I still haven't done my day 7 celebration. I've done all the behind the scenes stuff, so I'm almost caught up with celebration. But here's a question for all of you. There's like 40 of you online right now. And if you haven't hit that like button, Sean was the one who said earlier, hit that like button. I haven't checked to see how many likes we got right now, but hopefully it's 37 or more. And if it's not, hit the like button, please. And thank you. Yeah, Daryl says it was so majestic. Like I said, he was on here with me. Daryl, and I don't know how many of you have seen me in person, but everybody says I look a lot smaller when they see me on TV, on YouTube or whatever. But I'm a pretty big dude. I'll admit. I'm like 6'5" and 285. Daryl's a big guy himself. And Daryl, correct me if I'm wrong, but Daryl is a big guy, and he has Chihuahuas, I think it is, Daryl. It's like a really big dude with really little dog. And I think he's got more than just a Chihuahua, but I'm pretty sure he's got a Chihuahua. So, and he's like my size, so we're like two really big guys. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I saw one of his posts recently, and it showed like 4 different dogs. And it said, this dog's good for this dog's good for that, this dog's good for this. And then it had a Chihuahua, and it's, said just like, it was the most evil amongst the bunch or something like that. So yeah, Daryl says foo-foo dogs. So I was just kind of an amusing thing. But, I used to have a little miniature pinscher myself, and people used to kind of tease me because miniature pinschers, they're not as small as Chihuahuas, but they're pretty small dogs. They look like little teeny tiny Doberman pinschers, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I used to get teased about that a little bit, but then we went to the bigger dogs and had the bulldogs for the past 25 years or so. And yeah, we miss our Sadie. And for those of you that are new to the channel, this was Sadie. She used to sit in this chair right here next to me. And I had Joni Swanson. I don't think she's online today. And this a student painted for me. But this was Sadie here. And yeah, I mean, dogs are just like, right, so precious. And all our family pets are, right? I mean, some people aren't into the whole pet thing, and I respect that too, but for those of us that have dogs, it's like they become part of your family, and I mean, when you lose one, I mean, it's just, man, it just hits your soul. And I mean, I still think about Sadie all the time. So yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah, Usnavi's talking about Alaska here. Absolutely true. And oh, you know what? Okay, so we went to this place in Victoria called Bard and Banker, and we cruised with some people that were actually lived in Alaska. And I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to type it in the I want you all to look this up. And if you end up going here, first, here's the Banff. Okay. Right there. I just entered it in the comments, but Banff, Canada. All right. Has anybody heard of that or been there? And if you haven't been there or heard about it, I want you to go onto YouTube right at the end of this show, and we're almost done. But I want you to look that up, because I ran into some people on the cruise. They were from Alberta, Canada, or something like that, but they were on the Carnival Luminosa the second week. They were at Bard and Banker Bar, where we are at in Victoria, partying and stuff. And they said, "Oh, Alaska, these are cute little mountains." They're like, "If you want to see some real mountains and some real whatever, you got to go to Banff." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "You got to be kidding," because this was like some of the most majestic stuff I've ever seen. But look that up, because I already did, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I already told Anita, I'm like, "Yeah, we have to go here. We have to go here now." So if you haven't heard of Banff, then you need to look that up. And I'm just going to tell you, type that into Google, type that into YouTube. I'm sorry. Type that into YouTube. And yeah, Joanne, I'm going to put this up here. Love, love, love dogs. So faithful and protective. Yeah. That's the great thing about dogs is like, and I know there's some cat lovers out there too. Oh yeah. Terrell says, "Don't go to Big Bad John's." I should have talked about that. But yeah, Bard and Banker though in Victoria, and Daryl, the second week we went there, and we went there the whole time, and we had a blast. Our bar tab was like $250. It was insane. There was a big group of us, but we had a great time. Joanne says, "Love, love dogs, so faithful and protective." Yeah, and you know what? The dogs, they don't care. Like, sometimes you'll come home and your spouse is just like, whatever, but the dog is always there, happy to see you, and just loving and everything. Coach Wyatt's a future cruiser and my grandson. Oh, very cool. All right, Wyatt. All right, what's going on, my friend? We'll put you up on the screen. All right, you guys. Well, look, we already passed our hour. We still got over 30 people here. We were up over 40 at one point. That's awesome. Thank you all so much. T-Boat on the go. God's country for sure, never been, but have been interested in visiting. And you all check out Banff on YouTube. I mean, honest to God, these people do not steer me wrong. I looked it up. It is crazy. I had never heard of it. And some of you are going to be like, "Oh my God, we have to go there now." And yeah, it's insane. So if you all, the Alaska lovers out there and everything, if you already done Alaska and you want to staycation, not a cruise, because you can't cruise through Banff, but if you want just amazing, majestic views and things like that, go YouTube that right now after I get off, and just type it in real quick, and you're just gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is beautiful." IRL ship spotting, behind the scenes video. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I'm going to end here, but yeah, behind the scenes stuff. I got so much stuff on Lee right now. Somebody messaged me today, and they're like, "You really love Lee or like Lee, don't you?" And the answer to that is yes and yes. But I realize it's because I've released so much video that involved Lee, but most of it was in just one day. And just one day that I hung out with Lee, there was just so much content there that I had to release like 3 different videos to get it all in. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the behind the scenes stuff, do it. And again, North Shore Travelers, happy anniversary. Everybody, thank you for all the super chats and stuff. And we'll see you all next week. It's been a great Tuesday. It was great hanging out with everybody. Great seeing a lot of familiar names and a lot of new names. Thank you all the new people that have shown up. It's great having you on. We'll see you all next Tuesday, and have a great one, everybody. Take care. We're out of here.